Hey guys, Ash here coming at you today reviewing Sparky. We're going to max him out, take a look at his stats as they go up from level 1 to level 5 to max, and we'll compare him to maybe like the P.E.K.K.A card, a similar card. He is unlocked in Arena 7. This episode is going to be all about Sparky, so we're going to do some replays against some other YouTubers, and we're also going to highlight Sparky. We're going to try him with different combinations, including the mirror, try to really get down his strategy. But here is his stats at level 1 here, 1,200 hit points, 1,300 damage. That 1,300 splash area damage is absolutely insane. There's nothing that even comes close to that. A level 1 P.E.K.K.A, for example, has 450 in each strike. Now, obviously, the DPS, damage per second, is about the same because the P.E.K.K.A strikes a little bit faster. But basically, if you can get one hit off, forget the DPS. If you can get one hit off with level 1 Sparky, you can take a tower down almost half as much hit points as it starts out with. It's incredibly insane. So you can see here level 2 Sparky now. Level 3 Sparky is going to be 20,000 to upgrade. A significant stat boost here throughout all the levels, and it is obviously much more expensive and difficult to level up legendary cards in terms of the cost and the rarity of the cards. So at level 4, you can see to max amount's 100,000 gold, just like the other legendaries there, and this will be a maxed out Sparky here. So let's take a look at his final stats here. 1752, so not kind of squishy, but not too squishy. So you got to be careful of him. You got to protect him. He's not a tank, but he doesn't have, you know, let's compare him to a max P.E.K.K.A. Let's max out the P.E.K.K.A, and then we'll kind of compare and contrast their stats side by side here. So also the gold, if you have noticed here, has been raised to 1 million gold, being the cap. I forget what it used to be, but anyway, it's now 1 million. So let's go ahead and max out P.E.K.K.A here. He's going to be 100,000. There it is. He is now maxed. So look at his hit points, 5,000, over 5,000 in the max P.E.K.K.A, compared to the Sparky, which is 1752. The damage is roughly the same. The DPS actually higher on the P.E.K.K.A, but again, it's all about that one damage shot, that one big pulsating laser, electronic Tesla, whatever you call it. That one shot does so much damage. So you can see here, Galadon just took me down, but I'm going to start out with a replay by Ted TV. I will play the end of that 3-star that Gally had on me at the end of the episode, the very ending, where he totally clobbered me with some lava hounds and a Sparky or two on my King Tower. We're trying out some fun, different kind of decks towards the end of the episode, but right now, these are real strategic decks that I'm kind of testing out, seeing how they work. I'm playing the Miner card as well. He's also a legendary card. So we're going to start the Sparky whenever we use him. I want to get him mirrored up in this deck. The idea here is to have a few Sparkies going at the opponent here. Now, I want to ask you guys, especially after you're done with the episode, do you think the Sparky is OP? I mean, obviously, you guys haven't played him yet. If you're watching this video in a few weeks, maybe you have. I'm interested in hearing your thoughts. A lot of people say they look, or I don't know why I call him a he, but he or it looks overpowered, but I don't know if it is necessarily, and I'll tell you why. You can see I used the Miner to try to tank for the Sparkies, and one Sparky goes down, the other Sparky gets distracted pretty easily, and essentially that's why I'm not sure they're going to be overpowered. They don't have a ton of hit points, A, and B, you can use these new troops like the Miners. If you're lucky enough to have a Sparky, odds are you might be lucky enough to have a Miner as well to defend against, especially in Legendary Arena. Most people have, you know, these higher level cards. I'm going to go ahead and you can see I mirrored Hogs there. They're actually going to do a lot of damage there to Ted TV. And the thing is I take down his tower, that's great, but the thing with the Sparky is I think using the mirror with him, because he's only a 6-cost elixir card, might actually work out alright, because obviously for 13 elixir, you're getting 2 Sparkies on the board. That's pretty crazy. A lot of firepower there. Now I said, the reason they might not be overpowered necessarily, we'll have to wait and see for sure, is because they're really easily distracted, and the Sparky obviously can be taken down if you use a card like the Miner, or if you use any kind of distracting card. You just have to be very careful. It does have that 5-second delay between its shots, So if you can time it correctly, or use zaps as I've been using, you'll see that in the next replay, you can actually kind of shut it down. But 2 Sparkies, very hard to combat. And you can see a fireball does a little bit of damage to it, but only about a third or so. So it's not like you can take it down with a spell really easily here. So this is where I go in for the kill here. 2 Sparkies. I put down a cannon for the heck of it. I use a miner, but put him way in the back over there on that elixir pump and that furnace there. And then I have 3 Sparkies. 3 Sparkies for a split second there on the King Tower, and you can see he's able to take down 3 Sparkies pretty quickly. I need a tank there to cover for him, and that's why this deck is actually pretty good. I kind of like the deck. I'm not sure if it will be viable in competitive and like tournaments or whatnot. I mean, it's very early on at this point still, but having the Miner and Sparky in the same deck seems to have a good synergy. The idea is you want to protect your Sparky card. Good game, Ted TV, and you want to protect the Sparky card, and you don't. I haven't found a lot of success with it. I played about 15 to 20 matches at this time with Sparky, and I haven't had a lot of success with him when I'm going ahead and putting him right at the halfway mark. I kind of like putting him behind the King Tower. Again, he's not very vulnerable to these direct damage spells, so you don't have to worry about a lightning spell per se, or a fireball as you saw there. So what I'm doing now is I'm kind of playing the Giant ahead of time. I'm playing Galadon again. This match is totally epic, by the way. He's playing Lava Hound, he's playing Fire Spirits, he's playing Furnace, he's playing everything, basically all the new cards, Guard and Miner, everything. So he has a lot coming at me here that I've never had to deal with other than just the last few days playing on this build. But you can see early on in this match, I actually get Sparky behind that Giant, and you're going to see that's where Sparky really shines. Now, he is distracted very easily. Every time that Galadon dropped a troop there, Sparky would adjust and retarget that troop, and it takes a while. You can see he kind of gets a little bit schizophrenic there as far as aiming all over the place, but eventually he makes it to the King Tower. He gets one shot off and just barely almost gets another shot off, but the princess actually helps out that King Tower, taking him down. So now he has a Sparky on my tower, and I have nothing to stop it. That's the thing. Look what just happened there. I say wow, and look it. That's the thing about the Sparky, and you gotta realize this when using him strategically, and it's a good tip to keep in mind that if you try to counter a Sparky with a Sparky, man, you really need to get your timing 100% accurate, because if you place your Sparky after the other player's Sparky, I'm saying Sparky so much here, after the other player's Sparky targets your tower, that huge AoE splash damage, once that laser or whatever, that electric pulse hits its target, it will kill the other Sparky as well. So you got to be very, very careful. And that goes with anything defensively. You really have to time it out. So Galadon's playing this Miner, and it's going to continue frustrating me on that right tower the entire match here. I placed down another Sparky at this point. I have some goblins going down. I'd really like to shut down that furnace there because those fire spirits are kind of annoying. I found that early on the fire spirits and the furnace obviously have a kind of interesting utility. Sometimes they're not a big deal at all. I mean, they have about half the hit points as goblins do, and they're very easy to counter and deal with unless for whatever reason, you know, you're using a hut spammer deck, or you're using even my cycle deck with the hogs. You know, they can't. Oh, look at, by the way, I just took out Galadon Sparky in one hit, and that's what I was talking about earlier. If you drop your Sparky a little bit too late, like I did earlier and like Galadon just did, my Sparkies will one-shot their Sparky. So certainly interesting to keep in mind here that the Sparky's damage is enough to one-shot another max Sparky, and I'd assume that would be the same throughout every single level of the Sparky. So now we're into overtime here. I have a lot of damage done to his King Tower, but he has all these cards I never dealt with before. He hasn't played many Lava Hounds, but I think he does start playing one soon, a couple soon, coming up in just a second here. Now that's the one thing about this deck. If I was gonna make a deck that I was gonna play in a tournament or something, I'd probably find a way to get a minion or minion horde in here, because I don't have anything air targeting. And of course, I probably should have mentioned this earlier, but the Sparky does not target any air targets. So this time I zap the Sparky so he does not kill my Sparky, and my Sparky is going to be ready with the zap there, but look at that. He hit the guards. The guards are actually great to counter the Sparky because the guard shields will actually go ahead and occupy and absorb that entire first hit. All that 1,000 plus damage or 1,800 damage, whatever it is on the max Sparky, is all absorbed on one hit on those guards. You can see it again here. So they drop their shields, but that's a lot of value off those 3 cost guards for, for taking an entire hit and then staying alive. Obviously, the same would be for the Dark Knight, so there's a lot of counters I can imagine already in my head to the Sparky. Anything that can take a hit or so, and if then you can put a goblin down to distract it, there are a lot of options. Even skeletons to distract it could help. Now, at this point, you can see we're still going back and forth here. I haven't got anything going on right now. I have the archers are my only air targeting unit in my entire deck. He's playing this miner. I'm like, this miner again? Are you kidding me? My Sparky's kind of holding his own over there in the right-hand lane. I play a hog. I'm trying to get some damage down to his crown tower, trying to change this defensive game into an offensive game. I use the zap spell at just the right second there. I was able to zap and once again reset, if you will, the Sparky. Now, I can't confirm this 100%, but it looks to me like you can actually reset that 5 seconds it takes for the Sparky to shoot. You can actually reset that by zapping it, so you can actually theoretically make it 9 seconds. Now, I do have to play around with that a little bit. Again, if you're watching this later, this is the first day. We haven't even seen these cards live yet, but this is my experience with the Sparky after about 20 matches, and I did promise you guys I was going to bring you the end of Galley 3-starring me. Look at this, 2 Lava Hounds, a Sparky, guards, minion horde. Oh no, 2 Sparkies, 3 Lava Hounds. Are you kidding me? 3 crown. Shout out to Galadon. Shout out to Ted too. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. It's been a pleasure, and as always, take care. Don't play for